Hey guys, what's up? Darcy here at 6 Strings 9 Lives. I guess the time has come for those year-end lists. I don't know about in your world, but man, 2024 just breezed by. You know, it just feels like it was January just a few days ago, and here we are already, near mid-December. Christmas upon us soon. But this is a list that I've done for now. This will be the 7th year, and it has varied between, a top 20. I've had a top 15. And I think I've had a top 10, and today will be no different. I will do a top 10. I only picked up 16 newly released studio albums in 2024. Actually, to be honest with you, it ended up to be a slower year than I thought. I was skimming through my last year's top 15. And I kind of did a little bit of a speculation of albums that we would see in 2024. And I bet you there was almost 20 that I named off that didn't even come out. So I'm not going to do that again. I've already done a video on looking ahead to 2025 if you want to check that one out too. So what I'll do, I'm going to start off before we hit my top 10. I got a bit of a list of albums that I did not purchase for, various reasons, or still may purchase. I've seen a few of these on, actually some of them quite high on other people's lists. And that's the fun part. I like seeing your list too. I don't I don't judge what you're listening to. It's what makes you happy. And please throw it down in the comments, those albums that really stuck out for you in 2024. And the video that I did do looking ahead to 2025, I think it's going to be a good year. And I don't know if I always say that, but whatever, doesn't matter. So I'm going to list off, I think I got about 10 albums that I did not pick up, and one that I still, actually there might be two on here that I still will get. Doesn't mean they're bad albums. I just kind of pick and choose. You just can't listen to everything. So 16 I thought was good. So what I'm going to do is, before I name my top 10, I'll do 2 honorable mentions. There'll be 4 that I purchased that you won't even see on here, but let's start off with the stuff I didn't buy. And this one, top of the list, I'm seeing this one all over the place. That is Blood Incantation, Absolute Elsewhere. Now, I've been exploring this band. I'm not sure about their third album. That's more of just a ambient noise type of album. But their second album, and then this newest one, really good. Mixture of just death metal, atmospheric metal, all kinds of stuff. It's like, what did somebody compare it to? Like the Pink Floyd of death metal type of thing. So still exploring a Blood Incantation. I passed on Category 7. Wasn't really interested in that collaboration of those guys. I like a lot of their individual work, but just not as a group. Kerry King, From Hell I Rise. There's some decent tracks on there. Did not pick that one up. Satan, Songs in Crimson. Didn't pick that one up yet. Sebastian Bach, Child Within the Man. I heard that's a really good album. I still have not heard the whole thing yet. A band that I do have their first 2 albums. I don't know why I haven't picked this one up yet, but that's Traveler. They are from Canada. The album is called Prequel to Madness. And an album that I listened to this morning, I don't know what, I just kind of passed on it, but Bewitcher, Spell Shock. That one is definitely going back into the consideration to purchase category, whatever you want to say, because it is a really good album. And lastly, we had Hell Butcher, self-titled album, decent. That's kind of blackened thrash, and with those blackened thrash vocals. As per Bewitcher, they're kind of blackened thrash vocals with, more Motorheady type of sound with, just really good. And then the last one on my list is Lucifer 5, which I've only heard a couple of songs. So let me know if any of those are on your list, and then we'll get right into my top 10. We'll start off with my 2 honorable mentions. One that I have, it's ordered. I think it does not get, it's already released on, streaming services, but I have a copy of this. I'll just show you on the iPad. I got a copy of this coming. This is Storace Crossfire, released here on, when's that come out? November 22nd or something like that. So if you're not familiar with Strachey, this is Mark Strachey, the lead vocalist of Crocus. Fantastic album. He has another solo album that he did a couple of years ago, To Let Live and something. It didn't really interest me that much. I heard a few of the songs, but this one is just on point. If you like Crocus, stuff like One Vice at a Time, Headhunter, The Blitz, there's some tracks you got to check out on here. The leadoff track, Screaming Demon, just an awesome song. It actually starts off like it was from 1982, like it could have been on One Vice at a Time. Rock This City, another great track. Love Thing Stealer, another track that could be on Headhunter. And then there is a track called Thrill and a Kiss that easily could have been on, 84 or 85's The Blitz. But yeah, definitely gonna, if I would have had this one longer, it might even have cracked the top 10. It's that good. Mark Strachey, 72 years old. I still think he is the guy they should have considered seriously to replace Brian Johnson when he had his hearing issues. But I do understand, it's a money game. They got a bigger name in Axl Rose, who did a good job anyways, but Mark's voice would have been so fitting in that band. Second honorable mention before we get to the top 10 is Victory's 12th studio album, second since they've kind of reformed. This is called Circle of Life. So Victory, if that sounds familiar, or the guy in this band who I absolutely love, and that is Herman Frank, ex-guitar player of Accept and various other projects, his own solo band, Herman Frank Band, which, there's Herman right there. Great vocalist on here, Gianni Patello, just a great voice. He's on this one and 2021's Gods of Tomorrow, so that's kind of when they reformed. But this hard rock album, this has some metal tinges, but overall, this is just a hard rock album. It's good. It's strong throughout the whole album. Favorite track on here is called Moonlit Sky, and a couple other great tracks. Tonight We Rock. There's a ballad on here, and this one wraps up with a great track called Virtual Sin. But if you only check out one track on this album, check out Moonlit Sky. Herman Frank he's just an awesome riff master, whatever you want to say. But hopefully looking forward to a new one from Herman here in 2025. So into my top 10. First up, and this is this is my album cover of the year. This is, I guess, my surprise album of the year, because this band hasn't had an album for 34 years. Kind of like when Possessed came out with their album in 2019. It was 33 years. 34 years later, here we go. Atrophy, Asylum. Yeah, 34 years. So if you're familiar with their first two albums, Socialized Hate and Violent by Nature, even though there's only one original member, Brian, the vocalist, there's just no reason you wouldn't like this album. Like I said, it really surprised me. And check that artwork out. Released on Massacre Records. This one came out way back in mid-March. Yeah, first track, Punishment for All. Check that one out. Seeds of Sorrow, another great track. Where is it? Distortion, Bleeding Out. It's just like they didn't go away for 34 years. They kind of just picked up where they left off. Brian found some great players that their sound didn't change drastically in any way. But yeah, definitely one of those surprises of the year. And my number 10 easily could be higher. I mean, for the most part, any of these that I'm listing off could be, flip-flopped a little bit too. Let me know if you've heard that one. So, all right, coming in at number 9, first album in 17 years. 7th solo album by Bruce Dickinson, The Mandrake Project. Now, this one was a grower on me, but it grew on me quite fast. I listened to it initially a few times, then I left it alone and then hit it, quite a bit after that. Play it at least once a month. What can I say? Iron Maiden lead vocalist, all this stuff. Of course you do. But yeah, this is surprisingly a really good album. Not full on concept, it's partial concept. The first single was Afterglow of Ragnarok. Really enjoyed that, but my favorite track on this album is called Resurrection Men. Awesome. And you know the story behind Eternity Has Failed. Became an Iron Maiden song on the Book of Souls. If eternity should fail or has failed, however they worded that one, I forget. But anyways, another great track on here is called Shadow of the Gods. I mean, you know the album, but there is my number 9. Like I said, 19 years. I don't know. Did it even seem like 19 years? I don't know, but always love, a Bruce Dickinson solo album. Would I put it up with Accident of Birth and A Chemical Wedding? Not quite. Probably middle of the road, but still a really good album. Coming in at number 8 is, let me get a quick drink, is this band's, if you count the album they did under a different name, this is their 26th studio album. No, it's not Loudness. I wish Loudness would come out with a new album too, but this is Rage from Germany, German power metal. These right in the lines of, not quite Halloween power metal, but, Gravedigger, stuff like that. Rage. I love a lot of their earlier work. Well, actually, they have good albums throughout their whole different eras of different lineups. But the one mainstay on here is P.V. Wagner, the leader of the band that has been on every one of these albums. So yeah, if you counted Avenger, Prayers of Steel, this would be their 26th studio album. This one is called After Lifelines. This one was released at the end of March. So this is kind of like a double album and kind of a double title, After Lifelines. So it's broken out into 2 albums. Afterlife, which is more, well, it's all just traditional / power metal, but the second album, which is called Lifelines, has the symphonic element added in, which if you know the Rage catalog, you know that they've done actually full on, orchestrated type of albums, and or just adding some of that in, sprinkled around in some of their other albums. But yeah, this great double disc set from SPV Steamhammer. Great digipack, by the way. Love the artwork on this one too. This would be up there for, not quite in the Atrophy album cover category, but this is a pretty cool cover. But the first album is just doesn't have those symphonic album elements on here, but I just love every track on this first one. Under a Black Crown, Dead Man's Eyes, Toxic Waves, Shadow World. Just very catchy, great. PV's just a great songwriter, period, and has a great band behind him. And then you flip it over to the second half, which is called Lifelines. Cold Desire, great track too, but that's where these symphonic elements are sprinkled in. But I wouldn't say they're overwhelming. I would say all the music was made first, and then PV would present it, and then the symphonic, orchestrated stuff would be added in after. It's not, you really can tell that it's not mixed right in there, if I'm even explaining that right. But great album. That is my number 8. Coming in at number 7, a band that I've been following for, probably tail end of 1982, 17th studio album, and one of my favorite album covers of the year. That is Accept Humanoid. What can I tell you? So this is the 6th album since they reformed in 2010 with Mark Tornillo on vocals, Wolf Hoffman. Of course, he's the only original member in this version of Accept. But I love this album cover because I love the throwback to Metal Heart. There is the Metal Heart right here, and then there's the Metal Heart right here. And yeah, this is just a great traditional metal album. Where would I throw it? Middle of the pack of the 6. I just love Blood of the Nations and Blind Rage, those are just top notch, but this is great too. Second album now without Peter Baltes. Peter Baltes has went on to join the UDO band, so I always say that they're actually with Udo and Peter, they're more Accept than Accept is, but whatever. Wolf's still here. One of my favorite guitar players of all time. Love his guitar tone. But so tracks that stick out on here. Actually, one that Uwe Lullis is in this band. He is the second guitar player. You would know him from an awesome period of Gravedigger in the 1990s. Uwe co-wrote this song called Frankenstein with Mark and Wolf. Some other great tracks. Actually, the title track's really good. Humanoid. No One Gets Out Alive. That is more like more of a looser song. What was the song when their other? I lost my train of thought. It doesn't matter. Great track there too. And there's kind of these, at least one typical kind of slowed down song, which is called, where is it? Ravages of Time. That one's actually kind of grown on me. The Reckoning, another heavier track too, and this one wraps up with South Side of Hell. But there is my number 7 from 2024, Accept Humanoid. All right, coming in at number 6. I don't know, was this one a little bit of a surprise? I don't think so, because this guy is an awesome guitar player. And to be honest with you, sometimes it's just nice to have a little bit of a break and scale things back. But what I'm going to hold up is Jerry Cantrell's brand new album, obviously brand new album from 2024 called I Want Blood. 4th studio album overall. What else can I tell you? So this is his follow-up to 2021's Brighton, which I think that one's an awesome album too. But this one's right in there. If you like Brighton, you'll like this, because between second and the second album, what was it called? Boggy Depot and whatever. But there's a long gap in between album 2 and 3, but now between album 3 and 4, only 3 years, so that's pretty cool. Still hoping we get some, a new Alice in Chains. I don't mind the new, the newer version of Alice in Chains, because that William Duvall is a great vocalist too, and harmonizing with Jerry and stuff like that. But yeah, great album right off the get-go. And by the way, this one I ordered directly from his website. It came very quickly. Vilified, great track. And then what was the second track they released? What was it? Afterglow? No. Anyways, the title track, I Want Blood, that's another one to check out. And my favorite track on this album is called Echoes of Laughter. Coming in at number 6, Jerry Cantrell. Coming in at number 5, no, this one might be a little bit of well, was it a surprise? It was a surprise in the sense that it was a newer band to me, only on their 3rd album, and I'm not a big doom guy. No disrespect to any doom metal. I mean, I still love things in Black Sabbath and sprinkles of doom in my collection, but not outright doom. But this is kind of advertised as that, but it's really not to me. It's more traditional metal mixed with doom. I don't know about their first album. I've never heard it. Their second album, fantastic. The band I'm talking about. And coming in at number 5 this year is Crypt Sermon. This is the Stygian Rose. Absolutely fantastic. I was just blown away at how good this was. I don't always have newer bands cracking my top 10. I'm going on 56 years old, so I got a lot of older bands that I love, but put it this way, it takes a lot to crack my top 10, but it didn't take a lot with this album, because this is just unbelievable. When I heard my favorite track on this album, I was just like, yeah, which is called Scrying Orb. Yeah, check that track out. Just awesome. Lead off track, Glimmers in the Underworld. If I said that properly. Yeah, it's 6 tracks. It's a concept story. 6 tracks. I think it's only 44 minutes though, or something like that. But yeah, these guys are out of, I believe, the States, maybe Philadelphia possibly. Might have got that wrong, correct me in the comments, but just I love this album. So this is the follow-up to, I wrote it down, The Ruins of Fading Light, which came out in 2019. That is another great album. I've yet to hear their first album. I'm kind of saving it, and we'll get to it. Cool thing, this is produced by Arthur Risk. Now, Risk, if I'm saying that properly too. If that name sounds familiar, his name is coming quite big in the production. He produced the latest album from Creator called Hate Uber Ellis and other albums, and he also comes from the band called Eternal Champion, if you've checked those guys out, and another band that, what was that album? Summerlands, which was, when did that come out? 2022, I think. It was called Dream Killer. Check that out. Arthur's in that band too, but he produced this, and the vocals on here. Do we have a band shot here? Yeah, actually we do. Brooks Wilson, what a voice. So there's some, like I said, this isn't all on full on Doom. I get the doomy elements and stuff like this, but there's reminders of me of stuff like Savatage and just some US power metal. Just metal overall, just fantastic. Can't really check it out. Crypt Sermon coming in at number 5. Number 4, now I've had this album on order for, its only release date was November 21st. I love this band. They're in my German thrash top 6. The band is Accuser. I don't have my physical copy yet. I've ordered it. They're on a new label, so it's seeming difficult to get it at this point, but it'll be on the way. I'll show it in an update, but for now I'm just going to show you this Accuser, Rebirthless. This cover looks like almost like L. Ron Cantor artwork, so pretty cool. Rebirthless, 13th studio album from Accuser. Like I said, brand new label. A label that I'm not even familiar with is called MDD Records. So yeah, I don't even know who's on their roster, but if you go YouTube, the first track that was released from this album, which this is just full on machine gun style riffing, razor sharp riffs, great vocals from Frank. 3 out of 4 of these guys have been together for the past 7 albums, so only one lineup change, and that is their lead guitar player. New guy in the band, he does a great job too. What else can I tell you? So their past 3 albums prior to this were on Metal Blade Records, so either they're not re-signed, maybe means they were dropped, I don't know. And sometimes being dropped from a label spells doom for a band. In this case, it's rebirthless. This is just relentless start to finish. Newest track just released on, like I said, go YouTube MDD Records. Check out Violent Vanity. My favorite track on this album is called When Desperation Scorns. And then there's another track on here called Fear Denied. It's just like Priest, like it starts off like a Priest rapid fire riff, and then just, like I said, razor sharp riffs, the vocals. There's nothing slow on this album. It's, what is it? Maybe 39 minutes, something like that. And it's one of those albums you just want to turn around and play it again. So that's the new one from Accuser. Only been out since, what did I say, November 21st. And it made it all the way to number 4 because it is that good. So go check it out. Some solid German thrash. And speaking about thrash, here is my number 3, 15th studio album from this legendary Phoenix-based thrash band, Flotsam and Jetsam. I always say I'm proudly been there since album number 1. This is one of the handful of bands that I've never missed a release. Thick and thin, stuck with them. Albums that didn't get well received, I still picked them up, and I still love them because I can relate to when I picked them up, and that nostalgia thing. But no nostalgia needed for this thing. This is just awesome. If you're not familiar with Flotsam and Jetsam, they have one of the top-notch metal vocalists, and that is Eric Knudsen, A.K. Knudsen. He has not lost anything. Michael Gilbert on guitar, so those are the two original members. And then they have a solid foundation with these guys have been together. Now this is this lineup, just a bass player change past 2 albums now, but fantastic. I can't even tell you how many times I've spun this. Leads off with a great track, A New Kind of Hero. Where's my favorite track here? The Head of a Snake. Awesome track. Gates of Hell. This one just has such a range of even almost, what track was that? Is it Gates of Hell? Or yeah, Gates of Hell. Or Black Wings even has some almost like death metal, not vocals, but just heavy. And just, you know, just your typical great thrash album. Well produced. I have no problem with the production on this. I have no problem with the album cover. Love Flotzilla. Yeah, check that out. There's good variation on this album. Is it as good as Blood in the Water from 2021? Yet to be determined. I haven't updated my ranking on this yet, but check out, yeah, definitely The Head of the Snake. I Am the Weapon, the title track, awesome. Closing out with Black Wings, check that one out too. So there is number 3, leaving 2 left. And if you followed along with my channel, these 2 won't be rocket scientist stuff. You will be able to guess what's going on, but that's okay. That's what we're here for. So coming in at number 2, and this is not funny, but this happened in 2018, these exact 2 bands and the exact order, but coming in at number 2, 24th studio album from one of my favorite of the big 3 for me, Saxon, Maiden, Priest. But here is Saxon, Hell, Fire, and Damnation. Released way back in January, and one's been on constant rotation. Later months, at least once a month, maybe twice a month that I've spun this. One of my favorite artworks of the band, of the year. You know the story. So this is a celebration. This is 45 years of studio albums. Their first one came out in 1979, and here we are way over in 2024 with 24 studio albums. That's just incredible. 24 studio albums in 45 years is what a track record. And if you look at their full discography, and if you want, I've ranked them before. Yeah, there's not many stinkers in there. I just love Saxon. You probably already know that too. So first, I shouldn't say on the album, Paul Quinn does appear a little bit, but he's now retired from the band, retired from touring, probably doing some, less demanding things, and, speaking of that, now we have Nico McBrain from Iron Maiden stepping back from the touring end of Iron Maiden. I don't know if he would appear on their next studio album. We'll wait and see. Anyways, first with Brian Tatler from Diamond Head. Just still, Biff sounds great to me. He, just a real great album. Again, produced by Andy Sneap. This one to me is still a bit of a step up from Carpe Diem. And I don't know, would I even say this? Yeah, I've done a re-ranking, so go check that out. You'll see where this falls, because it falls pretty high. There's my number 2 for the year. Saxon, leaving only 1, and like I said, not rocket science. You know what's coming. Judas Priest, this one was released way back in, March. Now, the first single came out, or first song released, which was Panic Attack, 5 months prior to this getting released. So, yeah, and I have zero patience. I'm listening to everything that comes out as it goes. I would never in a million years be to wait 5 months to hear, the full album the way it was meant to be heard. Put it that way. I couldn't do it. But anyways, I have no problem with this artwork. This artwork is Mark Wilkinson artwork. He's done lots of work for Judas Priest. He's done the past at least two album covers for Iron Maiden. He's responsible for Senjutsu and Book of Souls, stuff like that, and the inner layouts of these albums too. So what is this, 19th studio album? So I always said I there's going to be a 20th studio album. I think Rob says we can't end on 19 albums, and I'm so happy about that too. Whether it takes, we see it in 2026 or 2027, Priest still rolling, just top-notch album. I really believe that Richie Faulkner is just put new life into this band. If you go back to 2020 or 2014's Redeemer of Souls, at that point he didn't have the massive input and the production of that album. There's some great songs on that album, but the production is very poor. But now he's just full on. Richie's there for sure. So anyways, going back to Panic Attack, that intro, just that throwback, it got goosebumps on my arms. I still do get goosebumps when I listen to the intro to that, right into Panic Attack, which is what they start off every show with. Yeah, what else? What can you say? I'd say out of the natural full album, I'm not going to count the bonus track one. This doesn't even have it on. 7 out of, how many tracks are on here? 5, 6, 7, 8. 7 out of 11 of these are just next level, and that's Panic Attack, The Serpent and the King. Rob still sounds fantastic. Invincible Shield, the title track, awesome. One of my personal favorites is Gates of Hell. Yeah, just a raise your fist metal anthem type of song. But then you got some cool stuff like Crown of Horns is just fantastic. Great vocals. Just great riffs throughout this whole thing. Scott Travis on the drums, all that. As God Is My Witness, another great track too. That one always reminds me of Hard as Iron off of Ram It Down, kind of that kind of start. Heavier track starts off great. Escape from Reality probably would be my least favorite track on here, but there's just so much good stuff. It doesn't matter about the so-so track, but there's my number one for 2024. Like I said earlier in the video, let me know what some of your favorites were from 2024. Check out that video that I did about kind of speculating what's coming in 2025. I'm always excited for new music from some of these older bands. I've already pre-ordered new Gravedigger, new Destruction. What else? I think there's something else is coming out too. Anyways, just let me know in the comments, and like I said, I hope you enjoyed this top list or whatever, my top list. Let me know your top list. Until next time, stay heavy.